Guys, welcome back. Thank you for watching. Ivan Blasquez here. I just saw a video from Dr. Greger, and it was on red wine and avocado. I think it was on like postprandial response, in other words, post-meal response. And he talked about, one of the points in the video was the effect of eating after exercise. Okay, so in fact, I actually have a little snippet of that video that really kind of targets that point. But basically, let me just kind of give you a heads up on it. He found in this study that he referenced, they found that there was an elevated marker of inflammation, interleukin-6. There was an elevated marker of inflammation prior, like exercising before the meal. Now, obviously, what we eat matters. So if we're just going to eat like a post-workout, like a milkshake after a workout, right? In theory, it would be better to have it perhaps before the workout so you can kind of blunt that insulin and glucose response and so forth. The research is pretty interesting. It shows that when it comes to regulating postprandial lipemia or triglyceride response, fasted training is best. So in other words, eating a high-fat meal after exercise has been shown to have a more of effect on reducing not having as much of a spike in triglyceride levels. Whereas it's not the same with glucose. Actually, glucose tends to spike after exercise if one carbs up. Now, that being said, speaking with your qualified professional, or registered dietitian, or someone who's a professional, a medical professional or the like, they can advise you on what to eat. It's not that you can't eat after exercise, it's what you can eat and how, and strategically, if that accounts for health and so forth. Some athletes don't care about that. It's all about, and it just depends on what you're doing. Like if you got an athlete who's an endurance athlete and they need to replenish quickly for the next workout, which may be in a few hours or literally the next morning, then yes, they want to have some rapidly digestible carbohydrates for that, so they can replenish glycogen stores, restock the glycogen stores, which makes sense, okay? And also fitness status can impact glycemic response. So typically those individuals tend to be highly active and have a high fitness level, thus they're not going to have as much of a marked increase in blood glucose and so forth. Now, for the everyday population, I used to think that eating carbs after workout was fine and stuff. It actually is, I mentioned it in my video, Health Blow, or post-workout window. I mentioned how it isn't the best thing. In fact, it's been shown to actually augment the glucose response. So that's why there's a lot of benefits with working out in a fed state, because it allows you to blunt that glucose response and also store less of the calories as fat, quite honestly, because you're immediately becoming active after the meal. Now, what we eat determines whether we get stomach discomfort. If it's quality of food and quantity as well. So if it's not quality, it'll upset the stomach. There's different factors. If somebody has yogurt before they work out, you've got long chain fats in that yogurt. Granted, even if it's low fat, it's still going to have those long chain fats, and then you've got lactose to deal with. You've got problematic ingredients or substances in the dairy that kind of impair digestion, which can cause being upset stomach. So it's like someone's going to justify that for like fasted cardio, saying, "Oh, I can't eat before." It's the yogurt, man. You ate something that's going to like upset your stomach. If you eat something light, something that doesn't upset, and everyone's different, so you got to figure out what that is. For me, it's oatmeal. I'm fine. I can literally work out 30 minutes after a bowl of oatmeal and be perfectly fine. Again, metabolic status, health status, all these things, training status, impact. Okay, that's what research is about. You got all these arrows and factors. Okay, and they matter. They matter. Okay. I mean, they matter to some degree. We got a little bit of leeway. Things so sometimes we can kind of go against what research says and we'll still be fine. But I'm just saying that it's kind of prudent to follow research, at least use it as a guide, so you can kind of be smart about things. So what I was saying was, eating before workout has been shown to help with glucose and insulin responses. I think not as much as triglyceride response. So that's an interesting little differentiation between fasted and fed. Fasted training allows you to have a better triglyceride response when you eat, and fed training allows a better glycemic response when you eat, okay? Because you work, so I mean, fasted is you eat after the workout, and fed, you work out after you eat. So anyway, that's kind of a unique response of each of those. But Dr. Greger talks about in this video how prior exercise can increase inflammation. And I'm going to let him illustrate that point right now.
Increase in inflammatory markers, so it may help in some ways, but not others. A similar paradoxical effect was found with exercise. If you have people cycle at high intensity for about an hour, a half day before drinking a milkshake, the triglycerides response is less than without the prior exercise, yet the inflammatory response to the meal appeared worse. The bottom line is not to avoid exercise, but to avoid milkshakes. The healthiest approach is a whole food, plant-based diet. But there are promising pharmacologic approaches to the normalization of high blood sugars and fat by taking medications. However, resorting to drug therapy for an epidemic caused by a maladaptive diet is less rational than simply realigning our eating habits with our physiological needs.
All right, guys, so as you just saw, that was further evidence to support the case that I made in this video about post-workout window or health blow. Again, that's why we need a qualified professional, a registered dietitian, a medical professional, someone of the like, to be able to educate and inform people of thin things to eat. By the way, this is the crazy part. I'm going to post this picture at the end of this video, and I'm going to read this. It was actually a hospital in my area, and it was from, I think it was like their registered dietitian on staff or whatever, and they had this picture about and this is New Orleans, so king cake's obviously going to be popular, you know, Mardi Gras and that kind of thing. And so I call it king cake or king mistake. That's my title. So let me explain this. Let me tell you this story. A fellow trainer showed me this email. I couldn't believe it. Compromise, sellout, and bought off came to my mind. After workout, a slice of king cake and a glass of milk are a great source of fast digesting carbs, protein, and electrolytes to replenish muscle, energy stores, and help speed repair. So in other words, and it's like, and at the title of the little thing it says work it out with an exclamation point, and then right underneath I have a picture of a king cake. So in other words, they're using exercise, like prior exercise, as a justification to eat that, because the assumption is when you work out, you know, you burn the calories, so you kind of earn the right to eat, indulge a little, or maybe you might not have as much of a response because it's post-workout. Well, the research that you just saw from Dr. Greger and my video is actually saying the opposite. So now you're asking someone to consume a slice of king cake, and then you got high insulinogenic milk, and also a high allergen milk, and it's like pouring kerosene on a fire. And Dr. Furman talks about this. I think it was like mixing meats with the sweets. That's this cool little rhyme, and it makes sense.
Is occurring because of this. And if you want to kill yourself as quick as possible, you can mix sweets in with the meats, pushing up insulin and IGF-1 simultaneously. Heightened levels of both those hormones are an important reason why Americans are so overweight and cancer-prone. Macaroni and cheese, a ham and cheese sandwich, meatballs and spaghetti, pizza, all these foods mix high glycemic carbohydrates together with the IGF-1 stimulating foods, creating a population burdened with life-destructive medical problems and food-induced deaths. That's why so many people think Darth Vader developed these common American foods.
Let me finish reading what I was reading. But basically, you know, first of all, the entire idea of eating fast-acting carbs post-workout to expedite recovery is completely overblown. This tactic is most effective in, like I said, advancedly trained athletes, primarily during intense training or competition, in which literally hours are spent exercising hard and long, which isn't most people, which is not a good thing, because you could be potentially, you know, creating this metabolic aftermath in a person's body, having a high-end glucose. That's why when somebody eats something and all of a sudden they're like get tired, that could be because they're having like a spike in blood sugar and insulin spikes, and it makes you tired. So do you honestly believe most in the general public fit this description, right? Advanced trained athletes who are training for competition hard and long. This is just the exception or worst case scenario for the implementation of this fast-acting carb plus milk scenario. And recent research has shown that a fast-acting carb after a regular workout can spike blood sugar levels more so than a before workout. I mentioned that before earlier in this video. I would say having this before workout would be better, since the workout would blunt the blood sugar spike. But as further proof of this food being bad, one would not be able to work out literally within an hour of eating this without some sort of stomach distress. Hence the dairy, the yogurt, right? You see that? Now dairy isn't the only one that's kind of guilty of that. There's other foods out there, and everyone's different, so we all kind of know what those foods are. So we have nothing more than a void. We have nothing more than a void of any kind of nutrition king cake in IGF-1 boosting insulinogenic allergen milk. Processed high carb plus a high glycemic milk equals recipe for health disaster. So with that, I thank you for watching. I just made this video because I wanted to kind of tie in Dr. Greger's inflammation angle with the post-workout meal, and with my, again, I eat after workouts, guys, but it's not like I have a shake waiting for me after the workout. I sometimes after a workout, I have to work, and that's fine. And I may just wait till lunch to eat, and that's fine. I'm burning fat. I'm riding the fat out. Theoretically, maybe increasing growth hormone a little bit. Right? It's called fasted recovery. Again, I'm not like training for competition or something. When I was doing triathlons, I don't even think I did that when I was doing triathlons. I would actually just make sure at the end of the day I had enough carbohydrates. The timing of it is a little bit, again, it really depends. Timing only matters when when there's like a time window, like if you have to, like the next morning, like that's when timing matters. But I mean, if you're just working out for health or even, performance, but, it's like you're not like in an organized sport or whatever. I mean, this nonsense about eating right after we work out is just silly. And there's some potential, and there's some research that actually is saying that it may not be the best thing. Okay, so that's all I want to say, guys. Thank you guys for taking your time. I really enjoy doing these videos. I enjoy my channel. I enjoy the feedback you guys get, and you guys give me, you provide. And make sure you like this video. Give it a thumbs up, guys, if I gave you some information that maybe made you think a little. Maybe it was just a different angle, okay? Again, I'm okay being wrong, but I like to kind of think. I like to kind of, think and progress and kind of learn. And so it's kind of like I'm learning right in front of you guys, right now, literally. And it's pretty awesome. So, again, share this video if you find it informative, guys, or if you want to use it as like a myth buster for people who just kind of spout out about the common like post-workout shake and all that stuff with whey protein and whatever. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching, and tune in next time.